The folklore of Redcaps comes from the border territory of Scotland and England. Through the 13th and 17th centuries, the border between these two was a bloody one. Any central authority held loose control over clans on the outer reaches of their territory. Because of this, clans constantly raided each other and fought over territory. This was called reaving. The constant raids of border reavers caused small fortifications and castles to be built for protection. As one can imagine, this created constant anxiety and fear for those living there. Possessions and land could be stolen, and more importantly, lives could be lost at a moment's notice. In this fear and anxiety, the folklore of Redcaps was born. Unfortunately, a lot of the information of Redcaps were passed down orally rather than written down, so I only have what I could find. In his book, Notes on the Folklore of the Northern Counties of England and the Borders by William Henderson, Henderson writes, quote, "Redcap, Redcomb, or Bloody Cap is a sprite of another sort from the friendly Brownie. He is cruel and malignant of mood, and resides in spots which were once the scene of tyranny, such as border castles, towers, and peel houses. He is depicted as a short, thick-set old man, with long, prominent teeth, skinny fingers armed with talons like eagles, large eyes of a fiery red color, and grisly hair streaming down his shoulders, iron boots, and a pike staff in his left hand, and a red cap on his head. When benighted or shelterless travelers take refuge in his haunts, he flings huge stones at them, nay, unless he is much maligned, he murders them outright, and catches their blood in his cap, which thus acquires its crimson hue." End quote. Redcaps spawned in areas of much bloodshed, the embodiment of the horrors that go down in these areas. With this quote came a question. Why specifically old men with iron boots and a pike staff? I suppose old men could be scary, but it seems a bit odd. Perhaps this is a mock rendition of what reavers looked like. Perhaps it's inspired by the larger family of sprites in European folklore like the Brownie and Hobgoblin. Or, actually, now that I think of it, it's similar to the idea of old hags and witches. That might be it, but I suppose we'll never know for sure. What we do know, however, is the reason for their namesake. Henderson explains that redcaps soak their caps in the blood of their victims, giving it the crimson color. Other references that I found mention that a redcap will die if the blood ever dries up. This makes the need to kill not only a trait, but a necessity of survival. Add intelligence with incredible speed and strength, and you have one terrifying creature to face. Despite all this power, though, the redcap has a weakness. Again, Henderson writes, quote, "This ill-conditioned," I love how he says that, "this ill-conditioned goblin may, however, be driven away by repeating scripture words or holding up the cross. He will then yell dismally or vanish in a flame of fire, leaving behind him a large tooth on the spot where he was last seen." End quote. Quoting scripture or holding a cross is a common word in folklore. Anything that is seen as evil or corrupt or unholy is destroyed by purity, holiness, and or light. It is no surprise then that a redcap can be killed in this manner. It seems that redcaps drop an item when killed. I thought it was going to be the red cap, but it's a tooth. Which gives me another question to puzzle over. Why a tooth? I couldn't come up with much, but the best I could come up with was a larger principle that is used universally in folklore, myth, and or legend. A memento of some sort, or a manifestation of what a creature represents, is left behind upon its death. I am curious, though, as to what kind of price the Tooth Fairy will give me for it. The most famous redcap is Robin Redcap, or Redcap Sly. According to legend, this was a Redcap familiar that was summoned by the evil sorcerer William de Soulis, who lived in Hermitage Castle. Robin Redcap granted de Soulis the ability to be unharmed by any weapon. Together, the two wreaked havoc upon the surrounding land. Having enough of his cruelty, the people rebelled and boiled de Soulis to death. Depending on the retelling, the Redcap died the same time as his master, or he still haunts Hermitage Castle to this very day. In history, a William de Soulis did indeed live in Hermitage Castle. He is recorded to have been cruel and widely unpopular. In 1320 AD, he was imprisoned in Dumbarton Castle for treason against the King of Scotland, Robert the Bruce, I love that name, where he eventually died. If you want to learn more about William de Soulis and Robin Redcap and read the full story, I have some references listed in the description below. Not all stories of the Redcap are the same though. There is a tale of a Redcap residing in Perthshire that bestows blessings of good fortune on those who meet him. In Dutch folklore, Redcaps are called kaboutermannekins and are more similar to Brownies in that they help around the house and light invisible fires that keep the house warm during the night. I would be terrified that my house would catch fire and I wouldn't be able to put it out because I can't see the flames. Fortunately though, I didn't see any references to house fires. They also wear red from head to toe rather than just the cap. Dunters and Prowries are also what are considered border spirits, or border sprites, and they make the sound of beating flax. If you ever hear them, it means misfortune is around the corner. Redcaps are a perfect example of what's called a cautionary folktale. A folktale that warns or cautions the listener about a certain topic or teaches a lesson. Little Red Riding Hood would be one of the most famous examples of a cautionary tale. Those who lived on the border during these times knew full well the dangers of living on the edge. If not believed outright, Redcaps provided a reason for people and children to stay away from dangerous areas. One can never know when border reavers will come and end a life. Thank you all for listening. If you're interested in learning more about the Redcap in the world of Dungeons & Dragons, check out the video on the screen or in the link below. Like and subscribe if you are inclined to do so, I appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one.